Your path to freedom. That's what I've called this presentation because it is freedom. Ditch the booze and you'll find peace and freedom. I'm going to begin by sharing a little bit about myself, but this presentation isn't about me, it's about breaking free. But just to give a little context to people that don't know me, I'm going to share my 3 rock bottoms with you. And then I'm going to talk about how I got sober and started a tribe. And then the main body of the presentation is about your path to freedom. How are you going to get your wings? So my 3 wake-up calls, rock bottoms, whatever you like to call them. First one came at the age of 25 when I almost drowned in an alcoholic blackout. I decided for some reason it would be a good idea to have a bath when I was blackout drunk. I locked the door, got in the bath, and if it hadn't been for one of my flatmates realizing that I'd vanished and me not responding when she hammered on the door, I probably would have drowned. She got the emergency services round, the medics, the fire engines, and they knocked the door down and they resuscitated me. Looking back at that, I just think, what an idiot I was. Because the next day there was a psychiatrist by my bed in hospital saying, we need to talk to you about this. And I said, oh, I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine. And my friends, we all laughed about it. It just became a funny story. It was, did you hear about Janet in her bath? What an idiot. Didn't really give it much thought after that, just carried on. I was perfectly functional, had a good job, nice life, but now and again, I had a binge drinking session, and that one at 25 was obviously absolutely the worst. Then I got married at 30 to another heavy drinker, and we had one of those marriages that was pretty alcohol drenched, but we were both functioning alcoholics. We both had good jobs. We'd come home after work, we'd have a shot of Jack Daniels, a large one, and then we'd open the wine for dinner, get through a bottle and maybe open another one as well. So that was just every night. Weekends, we'd have dinner parties that went on till 3 o'clock in the morning. So it was a very boozy period. And it was fun. I'm not going to lie about it. We felt like we were living the good life. It was very work hard, play hard. And all our friends were like that. It was completely normal. And then at 55, I had another wake-up call in that I had breast cancer. Nowadays, we know that there's a strong link between heavy drinking and breast cancer. This was 2006 when I had my breast cancer, and it wasn't really talked about much, this link. Even my oncologist, when I asked him if I should give up drinking, he said, no, a glass of wine now and again is fine, my dear. But of course, to my brain, that meant that I could go back to my bottle of wine every night. So yeah, I had a tough year of mastectomy, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, everything, and never thought about giving up drinking. I might have swapped from white wine to red wine because I'd read this article saying that red wine was good for you. Carried on, nothing changed. During my 50s, this breast cancer came bang in the middle of my decade of moderation, as I call it, because I was married to my second husband by then. He didn't really like my heavy drinking at all. He was always asking me to cut down, and I was always trying to cut down, but I went through a decade of trying and failing to moderate, as many of the people in our boot camp have done before me. It's just that journey that we go on because we can't face the thought of losing it completely, can we? So we try and control it. But once we've crossed the line into dependence, we can't control it. But I didn't know that back then, of course. At the grand old age of 63, I finally had my wake-up call, which came in the form of a 6-hour walking, talking blackouts. I lost most of a previous day. I was away for the weekend with boozy friends, woke up on Sunday morning and announced I thought we should go on a walk to this place. And they said to me, Janet, we went there yesterday and you were with us and you were walking and you were talking and you seemed pretty normal. And that absolutely scared me to death because I knew by then that the breast cancer was linked to heavy drinking, that was damaging my body. But the thought that was damaging my brain by this major blackout really scared me. This was serious. And I thought, I can't do this anymore. So I stopped drinking. That was 9 years ago. So how did I get sober? Of course, I trotted off to AA. I didn't know what else to do. And it wasn't really right for me. I just couldn't find my people there. I didn't like the labeling, I am an alcoholic, and I just found it all rather gloomy. And I did try several meetings, but the people there were a lot of guys in the meetings, and they seemed to be further down the line than me. I was probably on my way there, but I hadn't lost everything. I wasn't drinking in the mornings. I would actually leave those meetings thinking, maybe I'm not that bad. But in my heart, I knew I was that bad. So I carried on looking, and the turning point for me was when I found this one-day workshop in London run by Club Soda. So I went to a one-day workshop there, and it was great because it was all women, about 12 women, and they were all people like me that had good jobs, nice families, and they were sinking a bottle of wine a night, and they knew that wasn't sustainable. So we really bonded, we shared numbers, we had a little WhatsApp group. I came back to South Africa, stayed in touch with them, and within 6 months, I was sober. And this one-day workshop, they gave us some tools to change our behaviors and told us just how bad alcohol was for us. I felt as if I'd found my people. And this is key, really. And I say to people, the key to recovery is finding your people. It's so hard to do this alone. So you need to find your people. And that's why we run these boot camps, because we want you to get to know us a little bit and get to know our approach, which isn't the same as AA at all. We want you to decide if you think we are your people, could you work more with us? Do you want to work more with us? Then I started Tribe Sober, and the story of that was that I had the early sobriety blues, which is definitely a thing. When I was about 5 months sober, my mood absolutely plummeted and I felt totally depressed. And I thought, what have I done? Because everyone was really pleased with me and congratulating me, and husband was delighted. So I felt that I was trapped. I'd painted myself into a corner. And I couldn't see a way out of it. So I thought, I'll just sit here and see what happens. So I sat with the void, as I called it. And of course, with hindsight, looking back, I can see that I just took the alcohol out of my life, but I didn't change anything else. And I now know that taking the alcohol out of your life is about 10% of your recovery. But nevertheless, I just sat with it and I thought, oh, maybe it'll get better. And over time, it took probably a couple of months, but I gradually could feel my creativity coming back. I'd go for long walks and I started getting these ideas, and I would stop and write them in my phone because I thought, oh, I might forget this by the time I got home. And I started feeling that kind of buzz. It must have been the dopamine, the happy brain chemicals getting triggered again. And I had this idea because my professional background is in training and development and coaching. And I thought, why don't I design a workshop helping people to quit drinking, a bit like the one I went to in London, because there was nothing here in South Africa, just AA. So that's how it all started. And then I spent the next 8 years building a tribe. So I've been building a tribe since 2015. I started with this workshop that I designed and facilitated. We did it in Cape Town, Joburg, and London. I did media, articles, and then I started the membership because people were coming to the workshops and they were saying, we want more content. We want to stay connected with you and with other people that we meet on the workshops. So that's why we built a membership. Also, I started podcasting, so now I have this weekly podcast. That's a bit about me, so let's move on to you. Are you ready to break free? Remember, boot camp was just the first step on the staircase. You've had a glimpse of what the alcohol-free life could be, And I've seen that in the group. Many of you are saying, oh, I've had a few days now without drinking and I've woken up feeling great and I'm hopeful and this is going to change. So you've had a glimpse, these glimpses of how wonderful life could be, but it's just glimpses. You don't cross over to that place until you've clocked up quite a lot more sober times. So we're suggesting that you work with us to make it a permanent lifestyle, if you like those little glimpses that you've had. Breaking free is actually a journey. It's a journey of transformation. Because I used to describe Tribe Sober as a membership, but after 8 years of seeing so many people transforming their lives, I've decided it's not a membership, it's a place of transformation. And we're inviting you into our place of transformation to go on this journey with us. And the journey is going to take you from the moderation swamp. This is the most gruesome picture we could find of a swamp. Moderation swamp is here. This is our regular morning after, the night befores. And we want to take you over here to the sunlit beaches of sobriety. And building on that theme, this is a picture of me on one of my holidays. And I put that picture there to remind me to explain this analogy of the destination. When I booked that holiday, I wasn't thinking about the journey. I wasn't thinking about, oh, I'll have to get up really early and find my way to the airport, and then I'll have to change planes in Joburg, and then I'll arrive there really late, and then I've got to get a bed. If I'd thought of all of those things, I might never have booked it. I just focused on the destination and I booked it. And then I let the date come and I did the journey. So I want you to appreciate that breaking free is a journey that we take you on to a beautiful destination. And your destination is called Soberland. And so many benefits. I've got an entire presentation, of course, on the benefits of sobriety, but here's just a few. Better health, better relationships, authentic friendships, sleep. Sleep is a big one. When I turned 60, I felt exhausted and I thought, oh, this is what it's like to be old. And I realize now, looking back, it wasn't my age, it was my wine. Knocking back at least a bottle of wine a night. Of course, it's going to make me feel exhausted and depressed and old. And I'm much older than 60 now, and I'm absolutely full of beans. Get some sleep and everything will change. You'll look better, your skin will clear up, you'll lose weight. I believe that sobriety is a springboard to personal growth. So when I talk about the quitting drinking part just being 10%, the rest of the 90% is about changing your life, reconfiguring your life, building a beautiful alcohol-free life that you don't want to escape from. You're going to get extra energy and motivation to find more meaning and purpose in your life. I like this description of sobriety as well. Sobriety is just the ticket to the show. It's just the 10%. That's when everything starts. The band hasn't even started to play yet. So what is this journey? It's a kind of hybrid. What I did was I collated the best content, learning and resources from the last 8 years to create what I think is a world-class program. As a training director, I've designed and facilitated many courses over my 25 years in corporate. So I've used that learning to create this. It's the kind of program that I desperately needed 9 years ago when I was stuck in my drinking and I just couldn't figure out how to get out of it. I've designed it really for me, for that person 9 years ago, because it would have worked like a dream on me, I'm sure. Let me tell you about the structure. It's made up of 4 components, 4 pieces of a puzzle, comes together and creates magic. It all kicks off with a masterclass live workshop, which is on the 1st of June. Once you've been to that, you'll come to that workshop and you'll meet the other people that have signed up for this Breaking Free. Then we give you access to our online course, which is at least 15 hours of content, and it's videos and workbooks, and you dip in and out of that when you've got time. This is very flexible. We designed it for busy people. You also have 4 one-to-one sessions. You have 2 coaching sessions with Lynette, 1 call with me when you start, and then a mid-course review with Sue. I think the biggest thing really is the community support, because we've taken 3 groups through Breaking Free, and they really connect so well. We limit the numbers to 20, so I think that's the right number for really close friendships and bonds to be made. And we've seen the power of those small Breaking Free groups. On the Facebook group today, I put a video testimonial. Helen and Pia, that's 2 people from this latest group that are just finishing off now. It's an opportunity for you to throw the book at your sobriety. And if any of you have listened to the podcast, which is Roz's story, Roz gives a great tip for newbies. She said, when I did this, I treated it like a job. I would get up in the morning and I would listen to a podcast, read a book. I would spend time on it. I would treat it like a job. Another of our members, Lisa in the US, she says that at the beginning, you have to obsess over your sobriety. So what I've done here is I've curated the content for you to treat it like a job, for you to obsess over it, because there's so much information out there about sobriety. What do I do? Do I sit there and Google all day about sobriety? I've given you a structure, a very logical structure that you can work through and you build on it. And it is a 3-month program that really can change your future. I used to feel a bit awkward telling people that this journey can change your life, but I've seen it happen so many times. I don't care now. I just say sobriety will change your life. And if people think it's a sales pitch, then fine, but I know that it does. Recovery is never linear. Most of the people that have done the boot camp, they'll be hopping around like this little guy here, because they'll be thinking, oh, I've really done this and I've met some great people and I've learned a lot this week. Something's going to change. And we want you to feel that way. That's wonderful. But I'm warning you, that feeling will not last. You're going to go through ups and downs. Breaking Free is going to get you through this difficult bit that comes in the first 3 months. So there's mistakes to avoid here. I don't want you guys to think I've done the boot camp, so I'm sober now. There may be a few of you that are in that fortunate situation, and that'll be probably because you weren't that dependent in the first place, or maybe you're just doing this for a health kick. But I want you to realize that motivation level will fade. Because the group, it's been fantastically engaged this week, but we can't really stay on that group and input as much as we have been doing, because we have to look after our Breaking Free people. We have to look after our members. We find that in between boot camps, the connection on that group is almost non-existent sometimes. So the connections on there will weaken. And of course, fab will strike. You'll think, oh, I've been sober for the boot camp and then I did another 2 weeks. So I'm sure I can have a glass of wine now. And there you go again. But at least you know what it is and you know what it's called, and you're going to label it and ignore it. So please don't think you can do this alone, because unless you are at a very mild stage of dependence, that is highly unlikely. You're making it 100 times more difficult for yourselves. This is another mistake. We're all busy. I understand. I'm supposed to be retired now, but I seem to be busier than ever. Everybody's busy. And you might be thinking, oh, that sounds good, but I'm too busy to do a 3-month course. We've designed it really for busy people. We've made it flexible. So the one-to-ones, your sessions with Lynette, me, Sue, we will book that at your convenience. You just tell us your schedule and we will fit in with you. The online course, you've got lifetime access, but we really recommend you get through it in the 3 months. Otherwise, it might just sit on your digital shelf and we want you to get on with it. But you can do it at your own pace. It's about 15 hours of content. So make a resolve to do an hour, a couple of hours every every few days and work it into your schedule, but you don't have to be on it at a certain time, is what I'm saying. Of course, you'll get the community support for 3 months and you'll build up amazing bonds there. We've got this last Breaking Free group saying, oh, you can't disband our group. What are we going to do? We need to stay together. So we're trying to make a plan for them. The only thing that you need to schedule really is the live masterclass, which takes place on the 1st of June. And we'd love you to be there because that's where you're going to meet the other people. Although it's lovely to be in a WhatsApp group with each other, actually being on a Zoom meeting and seeing each other is lovely too. But we do schedule Zoom meetings for the Breaking Free people anyway. And we can give you a recording if you really can't go. But that is the only date, that 1st of June afternoon time for South Africa. We'd love you to attend. And remember, you busy people, that sobriety will save you so much time. I had so much time on my hands that I built Tribe Sober, and so many of our members have done amazing things with all the free time. Because not only have you got free time, but you've got energy and you've got motivation. So remember that if you think, oh, I'm too busy for this. We've got loads of testimonials. I'm not going to bore you by reading those because I think I put them on the group anyway. So Sally was on our very first Breaking Free. She's an executive from London. We've got Nolene, who's a lawyer from South Africa. And we've got David, who's a doctor here in South Africa. And I was thrilled to get his testimonial because he's a doctor that actually teaches other doctors and he designs and runs programs himself. So he said that he felt it was professionally designed. And all 3 of those people have, of course, been alcohol-free for ages. It really worked for them. So remember, alcohol is a trap. It's a thief. Look at all these things it steals from you. Your quality of sleep is really poor. It steals your looks. If you take a selfie now and then take another one at the end of Breaking Free, you'll be amazed. You lose the puffiness, your skin improves, you lose weight, you look like a different person. It steals your health, linked to 60+ diseases, 7 types of cancer. It steals your time because if you're like me, you're either planning your drinking, doing the drinking, or recovering from the drinking. It steals your money. That was the exercise we gave you guys today. We asked you to work out how much you spend on alcohol per year and then compare it with Breaking Free program, and you'll see that you'll save a lot of money by doing our program and ditching the booze. It steals your peace of mind because you've always got this internal struggle. You've got your conscious mind saying you've got to quit drinking, your subconscious saying, oh, but what about my friends? How will I have fun? How will I relax? Blah, blah. It steals your energy and motivation, and it just traps you in Groundhog Day. Your life doesn't evolve if you're a heavy drinker. I've heard so many of you say on this group, I wake up in the morning, I vow not to drink that day. By 5 o'clock, back at it. So get your energy and your motivation back. Even though I was quite old when I did this, I just feel like I've been given a second lease of life. It's like a second chance. That little fly there, this is a pitcher plant, and there's lots of dead flies down here that have fallen down there because they wanted to drink this nectar, and the little fly can see the dead bodies, but he's still going down and having his drink. We thought that was an analogy for alcohol being a trap. Remember, it can keep us trapped for a lifetime, and it doesn't have to be a lifetime struggle. I told you about this survey. The average time that people struggle alone before reaching out for help is 11 years. That was my 50s. I was in my struggle, moderating and failing 10 years. Isn't it time you broke free and did something different? So our program, it runs from June the 1st, so June, July, August. We've actually only got 18 places now, but the cart is open for 5 days. And that's not because we're doing the hard sell here, but we want you to make up your mind. We don't want you to procrastinate and think, oh, maybe I'll sign up for that breaking free thing in a few weeks' time because the doors will be closed by then. So just do it and never question the decision, and you're going to go to a different kind of place. We close registration on the 30th of May because we're running our masterclass on the 1st of June. We've got a few bonuses. There'll be a power hour, that's a one-to-one with Sue, and you'll get a recorded masterclass. The first 5 to 10 signups will get an ebook and a recorded masterclass. All of you will get a content folder from the bootcamp, because all our content from bootcamp will disappear in a few days. But for our breaking free people, we'll all get a content folder, so you can keep that as a reference. It will have all the recordings, podcasts, articles, everything in it. And of course, our members get a 20% discount on breaking free. So if you are considering signing up for breaking free, then sign up as a member first, and you will save a lot more money than you will have spent on membership. So here you are, you've got 2 choices. You can do nothing. You can stay in this struggle place for 11 more years, but your life's going to stay the same if you're lucky, if you don't get any of these 60 diseases or 7 types of cancer. And your drinking will get worse, because that's what it does. Alcohol dependence is like a lift, and it's only going down. Or are you going to enter our safe space of transformation and break free from the stuff once and for all, and become the person you were meant to be? Become the best version of yourself. Lynette, our coach, she always says this. She says, we have to choose our hard, because you've got 2 hard choices ahead of you. You can do this thing, and it will be a period of adjustment. If you join our Breaking Free program, it's not going to be an easy road. It'll be hard for a few months, but we'll be there for you, and we'll be urging you to be curious, to listen and learn, and you'll have other people connecting with you on the same journey, and we'll get you through, as we get all of our Breaking Free people through. It is so much harder to do the other hard, which is to keep drinking. All right, maybe it's going to be easier for the next few weeks because you just got your blinkers on and you're staying in the same place. But just play the movie forward a year, 5 years, and what's going to happen? You'll become more dependent, more anxious, and you'll be putting your health at risk. So start your journey today, because if not now, when? Wouldn't it be worth it to be alcohol-free without feeling deprived? To break free from the guilt, blame, and shame, to end the struggle and find peace, and to be healthier and happier. Difficult roads lead to beautiful destinations. So make 2024 the year that you invest in yourself. Sign up for Breaking Free today. Just don't waste any more money on alcohol. Don't give any more money to big alcohol. Just invest in yourself. Invest in your future health and happiness. And I'm going to give our last word to Breaking Free graduates. Helen, who is literally just at the end of the course now. She's actually on Ibiza, which some of you may know is an incredibly boozy place. She's on a holiday and she's not drinking, and she's having the time of her life.
Hello everyone, my name's Helen and I'm based over here in the UK. I decided to try the boot camp with Tribe Sober back in February 2024, having reached pretty rock bottom with my drinking and not knowing really where to start when giving up. Subsequently, I joined the Breaking Free programme. Not only do you get the great support from Janet and the whole Tribe Sober team, you get online learning, podcasts, Quit Lit. Who knew that was a thing? And above all, you gain a community of people who are also on the Breaking Free program, like-minded people, kind, supportive people who know what you're going through and are there to help you. I genuinely feel like I've gained a whole new family, and they're based all over the world. I've lost nearly a stone since I've quit drinking, and I've gained hundreds of pounds in money. So it's a great win. Absolutely love Tribe Sober, and I don't honestly know where I'd be without it. Come along, join us.